So thank you, Laura, for checking with everybody and getting us ready. And welcome everyone to our wonderful day today, our wonderful conversation. After an exciting global launch, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this first regional consultation at Asia Pacific. And it's just great to see old friends and new friends and see everyone join from around the region and around the world. So it's just a gathering of users and practitioners and teachers and students and friends of evaluation and friends of the Decade for Action. So we look forward to a wonderful conversation today, and it's my pleasure to welcome Acela to the mic to offer the official welcome and opening. Acela.
Thank you, Tessie. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to the Asia Pacific Regional Consultation on Evaluation, the SDGs, and COVID-19. The launch of the Decade of Evaluation for Action campaign in the region. UNFPA is a regional voluntary organization that aims to improve the theory, practice, use, and institutions of evaluation across the Asia Pacific region. Our members are national and thematic voluntary evaluation associations, and we represent more than 40 countries in the region. We are proud partners of the Eval4Action Global campaign. Today, we are lucky to have among us the co-leaders of the Eval4Action campaign, Marco Segone, Director UNFPA Evaluation Office, and Khalil Bitar, Chair of the EvalYouth Global Network, and our wonderful moderator, Tessie Katsambas, past President of the American Evaluation Association and CEO of Encompass. A warm welcome to these inspiring and true global leaders. Our third co-leader, Honorable Kabir Hashim, Chair of the Global Parliamentarians Forum for Evaluation, is not with us today, but he is with us in spirit. I also welcome all WOPA leaders, members, and volunteers, parliamentarians, public officials, UN colleagues, and development partners. Your presence and participation is a proof of the importance and attention you give to evaluation and need for action to achieve the SDGs in our region. Asia Pacific is the first region to hold the regional consultation as part of the Eval4Action campaign. As you know, in the past, evaluation was emphasized by the Global North, evaluation led mainly by Global North, but now, as you can see, the Global South is leading. We are truly honored and very proud to be the first region and invite all of you, your active participation in the event today. This is going to be an interactive event with group discussions moderated by facilitators from the region and beyond. I am sure the facilitators will guide you for very productive group sessions. I thank the facilitators for their excellent support and invite all participants to be highly active in these discussions. The idea of the consultation is to hear from you. We value your active participation and valuable ideas inputs. Your ideas will shape the evaluation action plan in the region as well as feed into the plan for the next 10 years of the Eval4Action campaign. We will follow up on these and make sure to involve all in the processes. Finally, appreciate excellent collaboration and the support by Tessie and the Encompass team for this event. And now, from gray hair to dark hair, let me pass the mic to wonderful youth of our region, represented by Ana Erika Lareza, a co-leader of the EvalYouth Asia chapter. Thank you, and Erika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Acela. I hope everyone can hear me, and warm greetings to everyone. So I am Ana Erika Lareza, co-leader of EvalYouth Asia, and I am very honored to be with you, all of you today, and at this very first regional consultation of Eval4Action campaign. AI is a newly established EvalYouth chapter, and with my colleagues, our aim is to promote youth involvement in evaluations and empower young and emerging evaluators. With the global launch of the Eval4Action early this month, we have committed ourselves to the campaign with an aim to strengthen dialogue and partnerships with other evaluation organizations in the context of YEE empowerment, COVID-19, and SDGs. We are a proud partner of this campaign, and we are very thankful to have UNFPA, EvalYouth Global Network, Encompass LLC, and other partners, and the Eval4Action Campaign team for making this campaign and consultation possible. We are also happy and thankful to the evaluation experts who have joined us today and committed their time and efforts for this event. They are very well prepared, and I hope and I am certainly looking forward to a very productive session with them. As Acela have mentioned beforehand, we hope all of you, our participants, are as excited as we are. We hope all of you are ready to share, to discuss, and to be challenged on how to put action in our commitments toward a more influential evaluation and for the realization of the SDGs. Once again, on behalf of APEA, EA, and of the organizers of this event, welcome to the Asia Pacific Regional Consultation. And with that note, I am pleased to pass the floor to the Director of the UNFPA Evaluation Office and co-leader of the Eval4Action Campaign, Marco Sego. Thank you.
Hello. You have to unmute Marco.
Thank you very much, Anna Erika, and really welcome. Sorry, just a second. Okay, thank you very much, Anna Erika. Good evening to all the friends from Asia and from all over the world. It's really a very big privilege to be here today with all of you. In the next few minutes, I would like really to give you the context and the background of the Eval4Action campaign. Let me start just by reminding that in 2015, we had a very big challenge. The poverty was increasing very much in relationship in comparison to 1990. Also, the emission of CO2 increased by 64%. Inequality was increasing more and more. Displacements was increasing by 90%. So the key question is that really the world we want? Or do we want a world where all rights for all human beings everywhere at any time are realized? And to achieve that is by reaching the farthest behind first. And that was exactly the mission for transforming our world by 2030. By using the Sustainable Development Goals that has been the most ambitious global roadmap towards an equitable and sustainable world. However, the reality is that as of today, we are not on track. Here are just two key indicators. And even before 2020, this what would be an historical year, mainly due to the pandemic. But even before that, the projection were saying that poverty is likely to be eradicated by 2072. And gender equality is likely to be achieved by 2189. It's really another world in the future, in the very far future. And that was before 2020. And that was before COVID, that, as we all know, is not only a health crisis, but is also a socio-economic crisis, a humanitarian crisis, and a human development crisis that will set the world back for several years. In addition, inequality are more and more evident, and unfortunately they are increasing within countries and among countries. And of course, the climate crisis, the climate emergency that we are all experiencing. So that's why it's very important to build back better But it's very important that this has to be informed by evidence, especially today in a world of fake news and alternative facts. All of this may lead you to feel like the person that you can see here in the screen, but in reality, we should feel like those other people. We should feel ready to accelerate, to get on track. And that's exactly what the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres did by launching the Decade of Action. A decade to accelerate the progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals by increasing the ambitions, the scale, and the speed to achieve the SDGs. And all of this should be informed by evidence. Because evidence and evaluation, because evaluation tells us what works and what does not work, why, for whom, and under what circumstances. But it's also very important to always remind that evaluation should always be equity focused and gender responsive, because inequality is one of the key challenges and one of the key problems of our world today. And that's why the Decade of Evaluation for Action was launched. The Decade of Evaluation for Action is aligned to the Decade of Action launched by the Secretary General. It's a multi-sectoral advocacy. And the focus is really about mobilizing commitment to actions. And the first regional global consultation today is really exactly to co-develop as a group, as a community, those commitments to actions that are the most important for the Asia-Pacific region. Because Eval4Action belongs to everyone. It's really a shared ownership. As of today, we have more than 80 partners across the world, and I have to say that Asia-Pacific is probably the region with the highest number of partners. And that's proven by today, regional consultation, being the first regional consultation, is really very, very active and is leading the way. Because the time to accelerate action for influential evaluation is now, and it's really up to each of us to make it become a reality. So with this, I would like to give the floor to my colleague and friend, Khalil Bitar, who is the chair of the EvalYouth Global Network. I have known Khalil for a few years now, and I have to say that I've always been really impressed, not only by Khalil as a strong evaluation professional, but also by his vision of bringing together evaluation and social justice, evaluation and social equity and gender equality. So it's really a very, very big pleasure to give the floor to Khalil Bitar to tell us about how young evaluators and why young evaluators are engaging in and are leading in this campaign. So Khalil, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marco, and thanks for the kind words. Speaking of the vision and Eval4Action, I think for this campaign to start and initiate, it was a vision from you and your leadership, and I thank you for the kind words again. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all of you. Welcome to the Asia Pacific Regional Consultation of the Decade of Evaluation for Action campaign, Eval4Action. It is a great pleasure to join the Asia Pacific Evaluation Association, APEA, and EvalYouth Asia chapter in this first regional consultation on the Eval4Action campaign, and indeed launching the campaign in the region. 2 weeks ago, we officially launched the campaign. Today, we are starting the first regional consultation on how to deliver not only on the global level, but also on the regional level, in a true global sense in action. On the 10th of July, we will have the second consultations in the Middle East and North Africa region, and other regions and VOBIs with EvalYouth chapters are also preparing their own regional consultations, which we are very excited about in the campaign because it's the real work of the campaign. The campaign is gaining much momentum because we are all eager to contribute to our societies in significant ways. We feel blessed to have such partnership that will enable us to accomplish so much together. We are impatient in EvalYouth Global Network, but as you heard from Anna Erika, also in the regional chapters, to make the SDGs come alive in our countries and regions. And we understand the crucial role of evaluation in achieving these global goals. The UN Secretary General's Decade of Action campaign inspired us, hence the Decade of Evaluation for Action campaign. It motivated us to put forth the Eval4Action Campaign with UNFPA and the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation, a campaign that calls upon all actors everywhere to accelerate the delivery of the SDGs by advocating for stronger evaluation capacities and evidence-based policies. Young people, not only young evaluators, but youth in general, are eager to make a difference and bring about change, but they often do not find the right partners or platforms. Many talk about supporting youth, but don't really walk the talk. We in EvalYouth found great partners in UNFPA and under the leadership of Marco, to be honest with you, and the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation under the leadership of Honorary Kabir. And in Eval4Action, we indeed found an outstanding platform where youth have a strong voice as equal partners, not beautification. Youth are the engine of activism and social change. Young and emerging evaluators will be there to ensure that we all keep our energy, whether in the global level or the regional level, and focus on action and with focus on justice, equity, and environmental sustainability at the forefront. These are essential values for us evaluators and for the problems that our world is facing. For me and many of my colleagues, Eval4Action is indeed Eval for justice, Eval for equity, and Eval for sustainability. We are all in this together, and we have no time to waste on inaction. Eval4Action and the objectives it aims to achieve has a great potential in the Asia-Pacific region. Leaders of APIA and EvalYouth chapters are leaders in Eval4Actions and its co-leader organizations. They are among the most prominent leaders. National evaluation associations in the region are strong and thriving and are among the strongest in the world, actually. And evaluators individually here in this region are some of the most motivated and action-oriented colleagues I ever worked with since I started in evaluation. So I think there are all the magic to make the Eval4Action really work in the region. There is a reason why the region is hosting the first regional consultation, which is the great enthusiasm on the part of all partners in the region. I have no doubt that this enthusiasm will translate into action and achieve the first steps towards these goals we all aspiring to in a very participatory process you are initiating today. So I invite you, and I echo Marco, Acela, and Erika to really seize this opportunity and be active and participatory and have your views. We look forward to working together today and for the next weeks and months in order to have special work and success in the region to achieve the SDGs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Khalil. Truly an inspirational speech. We know you are watching, and EvalYouth is going to keep us all accountable. And thank you to Marco for, together with Khalil, really framing the global campaign, the issues of the global campaign that are really urgent, and the pressure is high. We are here today because we want to be part of that solution, and we will be part of the solution. So, dear colleagues, it is now time for the passing of the torch from the global launch of the campaign to this regional consultation. Let me call Acela to join Marco to the mic. Marco, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Tessie. Well, as many of you will remember, in 2015, when we launched the International Year of Evaluation, we used the evaluation torch. And this evaluation torch traveled throughout more than 90 countries and 90 places during the International Year of Evaluation. Well, after 5 years now in 2020, we really have the great pleasure on behalf of Khalil Bitar and Kabir Hashim, the other two co-leaders, to pass the evaluation torch from the global level, from the global marathon that just happened a few weeks ago, now to our great friends from the Asia Pacific regions that will later on pass it also to our friends from the Middle East and North Africa region. So on behalf of all the co-leaders, I have the pleasure to pass the evaluation torch to Asia Pacific. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco. It's on behalf of myself and Qudratullah Jahid from EvalYouth Asia. It is our great honor and pleasure to receive the torch on behalf of APPEA and EvalYouth Asia and kick off the conversation in the Asia Pacific region. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Asela. And this is very exciting for us to be receiving the torch here in Asia Pacific region. So to get us started, as we proceed in the conversations we're going to have today, I want to invite everyone in the chat to tell us what is exciting for you about this concept of the campaign, and what questions do you have for us, what expectations you have for us. So we would love to hear from you in the chat. And as you do, let me also invite some reflections, just a quick one thing that excites you about the campaign from several of the people here today. So I would like to invite Rijmi Rinzin, a member of the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation from Bhutan, to share with us what excites you about this campaign.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody there. I'm happy to speak on behalf of Global Parliamentarians Forum for Evaluation at this consultation. It's great to see that Eval4Action Campaign has been a very successful initiative. Global Parliamentarians Forum is a proud partner of this initiative. One of the limitations I see in evaluation is the lack of its visibility. One way to increase your visibility is by making your reports available to all the stakeholders, in particular to the parliamentarians who will use your reports in their committee meetings and parliamentary deliberations. The evaluation reports should apprise the parliamentarians with your independent findings with appropriate recommendations that can be useful for legislation, policy making, and planning of development activities. Recommendations of evaluation reports should be clear, concise, and conclusive to attract the desired attention of the legislators, policymakers, and other readers. You know, open-ended recommendations will not help parliamentarians as they are already overwhelmed with volumes of documents. Parliamentarians do not have luxury of time to sieve through a 100-page evaluation report. So I think evaluation practitioners have the responsibility to issue a quality report that will really attract attention of all the stakeholders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rijmi, for sharing your thoughts. That is, there's definitely a lot that evaluation can do, and I'm seeing here in the chat so many ideas and so much excitement about the power of joining hands across the globe and involving youth. So let me ask Qudratullah Jahid, EvalYouth Asia, to tell us what excites you about this campaign.
Hi everyone, salam. This is Qudratullah Jahid. I'm representing EvalYouth Asia today. And as said by my colleague Erica earlier, we're proudly part of Eval4Action Campaign in our region. And we're committing to action in the Asian region along with our partners, sponsors, and supporters to promote the participation of young emerging professionals in evaluation countries. As part of our commitments to achieve goals of Eval4Action Campaign, EvalYouth Asia is actively engaging with regional and national hopes, namely APPEA, to kick off national EvalYouth chapters, and that's one of our priorities. With our concrete actions and power of youth a day when all partners utilize evaluation and the power of young people in evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kodatullah. And clearly there's a great synergy here between parliamentarians and youth. There's just so much excitement and power in our youth who are excited to use evaluation to create a better world. So let me reach out to Rashmi Agrawal from India to give us her sense of excitement for this campaign. You might be talking and you're muted, Rashmi. Okay, as Rashmi figures out her audio, Rashmi, can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
The Eval4Action Campaign is very motivating, especially in the present scenario of COVID-19. The campaign has given a sudden momentum to the evaluation community to come together and work together. It emphasizes on networking synergies, setting the priorities together, and above all, focuses upon action, which is very exciting. It will help in creating an environment conducive to evaluation. It will catch up to do in its quest for SDGs, and that quality evaluations and firm commitment to act on the evidence generated will help in accelerating progress towards global development agenda. It is also a commitment from all of us to think together, to share together, and to act together for a just society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rashmi. And we do not forget for a minute, Honorable Pakarel, how you supported the campaign of the Parliamentarians for Evaluation. I see your comment. And I remember how excited we were when you invited us to come and be hosted for the year of evaluation. So we really, really appreciate it. It takes all of us to move together for sure. So let me ask Samantha Pathiratne to come off mute and tell us what excites you about this campaign.
Hi, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Samantha Pathiratne from Past Asia, from Sri Lanka. Actually, I represent the private sector. So then any time in the history, I feel that today is very important to rethink on all sort of evaluations and evidence-based policies and strategies. Because after the COVID-19, now actually we are facing, or really we are experiencing a different types of world with a totally different landscape. So earlier there were so many inequalities and differences and related to income and all, but now with the technology and all, of course there is opportunity, but same time we see that some sort of new changes and gaps are occurring. So that is why we were really interested as a private company and with all our consultants, and of course we are working with number of government organizations and non-governmental and international agencies. But we see then earlier, now we really need to focus more on the evidences, the so-called, not just the evaluations for the sake of reports. I really have some alternative thoughts. Even a structure of reports and tools and methodologies and techniques, all we have to rethink, not only the report and the quality report. So I feel that, and especially need to get the involvement of the private sector also, and universities. And I think in that way, inclusiveness, not only the side of the most vulnerable community, of course, that is a must, but we have to get in all the powerful other stakeholders too. And we have to really rethink, and not just rethink, we have to do some radical changes. Then only we will really get the final ultimate success of the campaign. So I am very much sure that we can contribute, and this is a very good time. That is why this much organizations and people are committing. So then we have to continue this very important effort. So all the very best, and we are really committed from our side as the representative from the private sector. Good luck.
Thank you, Samantha. Absolutely, and I think this shows how it takes everyone, and also how much it matters that not only there are people to start, to initiate, but that what matters is how we capture the hearts and minds of so many of us who are here today, and so many others who will be joining the campaign and active in it. So Umi Hanik, let me ask you to come off mute and tell us what excites you about the campaign.
Thank you, Tessie. Hello, everyone. Good evening and salam. This is Umi, the co-founder of Indonesian Development Evaluation Community. So Eval4Action Campaign is what we need now and relevant with world today phenomenon, including in our region now. We see that the greater demand on transparency and accountability, also the technology disruption, has brought us into a greater polarization and horizontal conflict among people, as mentioned, as raised by Marco today in his speech. Also, low trust to public policy making. This is including policy on COVID-19 crisis. We can see how this chaos is happening in many countries here. So the future of democracy is at stake now. More importantly, the voice of the most deprived one, women, children, youth, people with disabilities, marginal group, will be left behind and more excluded. So collective action among evaluation professionals is important and key to promote transformative and measurable actions for change and address today's problem, both at individual, also institutional level for every actors in all countries in this region. Yes, together we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Umi. Yes, together we can, that's for sure. So I'm seeing so many fantastic ideas and excitement and elements of the vision of this campaign being shaped right now in the chat alongside all the speakers. So I just want to call Marco back to the mic to tell us what excites you about what people are saying. What stands out to you?
Thank you very much, Tessie, and thanks a lot to everybody. Really, what excites me is really the excitement and commitment and passion by everybody to work together to make sure that evaluation is going to be an agent of change for a better world. And that's very important exactly in this moment, because, you know, sometimes the pandemic is not our greatest enemy. What can be our greatest enemy are really these all these fake news that tends to put each of us against each other in a moment where we need exactly the opposite. We need exactly to work together. We need exactly solidarity, cooperation, because if we don't come together, it will be very difficult to really accelerate towards the progress of the world that we want. So it's really exciting to see all these great ideas. And during the consultation, now when we will break in virtual rooms, in breakout rooms, it will be really a great opportunity to co-shape, to co-develop, to co-create actions to make the difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marco. And Khalil, what about you? How are we doing? What are you seeing here in the chat?
Thank you, Tessie and Marco. When do you ever participate in an evaluation event and you see so many young people involved and have a strong voice and are active? If we are talking about the present and the future, youth are so important. Everyone is important, but I'm just saying that, for example, when you have even political system where youth are not participating politically, things move very slowly. So I am very excited about the youth participation. In the region also, they are leaders in so many different initiatives. And so glad that all other partners are not talking only about their constituency, but talking the parliamentarians, we hear them talking about youth talking about parliamentarians, this synergy, this complex world we live in, that is not just, you know, we work in silos. This is really something that excites me a lot. And the other thing is that nobody of us here questioning, or shall we as evaluators have role in in pushing the development agenda, almost everybody is agreeing that we have as evaluators social responsibility. We are not there, as the parliamentarian, thank you, said, we don't want just reports on the shelf. We want to do things. And this is what also excites me. So one is about the youth role and participation. Two, about understanding the complexity and partners working together. And three, about understanding what evaluation is really, the role of evaluation in social betterment, and we as evaluators, as activists and social agents, not merely going to a project or a program and having a deck criteria and evaluate against it, and that's it. We have so much more role to do in our societies to help. Thank you, Tessie.
Thank you, Khalil. And I wish we could hear in person from everyone, but we are 164 people here. So what we have organized is a way for everyone to share. And we are ready now to go deeper and to share. So first, let me tell you how this is going to work. We have a large group of facilitators who have prepared. We've had a separate session, so they are really ready for you. They're really ready to help us hear from everyone. And you see them now on your screen. So you will be moved to a room, a smaller room, and Laura will give us the instructions in just a minute for that, but let me tell you the big picture. You will move into a room with fewer participants, and there a facilitator will welcome you and will manage the conversation. And you will need in every room to have a note taker. So the note takers are really important because in some ways, if something happens and we don't capture it, so we're definitely capturing all of these wonderful, wonderful things you wrote in the chat. So note takers, you have two jobs. First, take notes in a Word document because this platform doesn't allow us for something else, and save it. Start by saving the document so we don't make that mistake. It's okay to be rough, to just use bullet points. And also before you leave the room, because we have 16 rooms, copy the chat. So as people are talking, some people will be writing. So also copy that chat and add it at the end of that document. And save it again. So we will need you to send this to Asela, who everybody has his email, and we will make sure that it is all connected and merged and synthesized into the note that we will prepare after the session. So your role is very important. And so let me now tell you what we're going to talk about in that space. So we have a question, if we can have the next slide, for everyone to think about how to make this campaign real in the region. So the question you're being asked, given this fantastic vision that we co-created right now between people talking and people writing in chat, what commitments and actions could be implemented under this campaign towards the delivery of the SDGs by 2030 with a focus on no one left behind? What national, institutional, or individual commitments and actions could we have? How can we involve decision makers, community, the evaluation community, and other stakeholders? So these actions could be from anyone and everyone. And how can these actions lead to stronger national evaluation systems, to action and implementing the SDGs, and to meaningful change? So this is the conversation that we want to have in rooms. We invite you to be bold, to come up with bold ideas, because it is from bold ideas that we will get inspired to create practical ideas. So let me now, and so you will be in your breakout rooms for a little while, 15-20 minutes, and then we will come back and share and hear from different people about the discussions you had, and look at, reflect together on what some of the priorities are that excites us the most. So that's the big picture of what we're going to do. And this is the focus of our conversation. So Laura, let me turn it over to you to help us move to the next step.
Great, thanks Tessie. So in just a moment, I'm going to send you all an invitation to join a breakout room. You'll see a dialog box up here, and in order to enter your breakout room, you need to click Join Now. So you'll take that step and find yourself in your small group, in your breakout room with one of the facilitators, as Tessie mentioned. Do note the name of your facilitator in the event that you do get dropped out of the Zoom call. You need to re-enter. You can let us know which room you were in and who was your facilitator so we can place you back in the room. And also, our producers will be floating around to provide support. You will have an option to ask for help. So if you require help during the session, just click that Ask for Help button and one of us will come in for support. We'll also be sending timing messages to let you know how much time we have left. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start breakouts. We will see you there shortly. Thanks so much, everyone. Hello and welcome back, everyone. Great to have you back in the main space. We're excited to hear your report outs from your small groups. Just a reminder to please place yourself back on mute if you had your microphone turned on in the breakout room. Will help us cancel out our background noise. We'll give just another 10 seconds or so for everyone to return from their breakout rooms. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Again, one final reminder to place yourself back on mute. And I will hand it over to Tessie to guide us in our debrief.
Thank you, Laura. And welcome back, everyone. I hope you had some really good conversations. The room where I was, it was certainly a fantastic conversation. So welcome back. Now, the reason why you had this support in the groups was because we won't have time to go through every point that was made, but we wanted to hear just some highlights from the facilitators or scribes or note takers from your room. So let me invite the note takers to put in chat simultaneously, and we will also hear from them, just what are some, 1 to 3 highlights from the conversation that you had about the kinds of commitments and actions that we want to see. And I want to go through quickly with just about 15 to 30 seconds per person and hear from each of the rooms. So in room 1, Alok, you want to come off mute and just tell us in 15 seconds some highlights from the discussion. What were 3 points that were made that were exciting?
The key point that was made is that sensitization of all the stakeholders, right from the policymakers to the community, the grassroots level organizations, about SDGs and importance of evaluation. So it should not be only from top to bottom, but bottom to top approach should be there.
Thank you. Thank you. Really important point. I look forward to those notes. Room 2, Claudia and Jennifer.
Okay, so our discussion was great. First, from plans to action, let's walk the talk. That was very inspiring. Second, VOPIs should contribute towards capacity building and institutionalization, and then a multi-stakeholder approach is critical. Partnering, partnering, and partnering. And the third one was the importance of sharing knowledge and advocating to support institutionalization.
Wonderful. Some very exciting areas where we can see commitments in action. Thank you. Room 3, Samandar and Roy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We had a really great discussion in our room. The key points are the institutionalization and capacity building towards professionalization of evaluation. And the second point is that laws and regulations should be in place in order to implement national evaluation policies and systems. And the other was the role of private sector, that they can also play a very important role in investing in technologies and in systems and complementing the role of the government. And the other point was the accountability of the evaluators as well, that evaluators should be accountable at all levels, and they should take the lead, take the charge as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Samandar. Some really, really important areas for hard work that we have to do from your group. Group 4, Nafyul.
Thank you so much, Tessie. I mean, we had a very vibrant discussion in our room. Some of the key points I will mention from the group is evaluation policies need to be passed as laws in parliament in individual countries so that they can easily be implemented in a legal manner. A strong enabling mechanism that mainstreams communities and citizens in the evaluation. And at the same time, empower universities or key academics and involve in the process to generate evidence-based policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Some very important actors that you mentioned here in our quest to do really great, focused, connected evaluation. Thank you. From room 5, Abir and Oyuna.
Yes, I think we had a great and interesting discussion in our breakout room and summarized our 3 points as that we really need more commitment and action to better engage the private sector in the culture of evaluation. We believe that this is something that is very important, especially that maybe the concept itself is not very clear. So this is an action for us. And we believe that we need to link more with the parliamentarian. This is something that is still not really solid and strong as we would like it to be. And we would like to commit also to more empowerment for the youth as we see them the leaders of the future, especially in the field of evaluation.
Thank you. Thank you, Abir, for sharing this important feedback with us. It sounds like you had a great discussion. So room 6, Samuel. If you're talking, you're muted, Samuel.
Oh, my apologies. Thank you so much, Tessie. From room 6, more or less similar to Abir's room 5, how do we advocate for, accountability from the stakeholders and the decision makers, rather the governments, and then the integration and partnership between VOPES so that we see this agenda moving forward is also key. And then also the issues of collecting data from evaluations for decision making is something that we talked about. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Some great areas for action. Farmer 7, Rushira and Turialai.
Hi, so can you hear me? It's
Yes,
Erica.
we can hear you.
For our group, we come up with 3 main points. So first is we need to strengthen participatory approaches. So, and I quote, they said, we need to view stakeholders as partners, not beneficiaries. Our second point is we need to identify, promote, and support champions, especially ones in the government, as they will be key in forwarding evaluation agenda. And the third is regarding COVID-19 and limited resources. We need to remember that there is always, even without COVID-19, there will always be a strong competition for resources. As evaluators, we do not need to compete with this. We just need to remember that our role is to ensure that they are used effectively and efficiently. So that's the points that we've discussed in our group.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And reminding everyone here about the instructions that you can right-click in the chat and upload your notes right now. Please repeat the instructions, Veronica. Thank you for those instructions. Let's go to room 8. Nuhan Mohammed. If you're talking, you're muted.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, hi.
We have people who are very enrichment and strong in evaluation. We have a lot of discussions and very interesting. There is a lot of important things, something that they like to launch master program on evaluation. Also, other said that they develop a book about evaluation to bridge the gap between academia and practice, which is also very good. Other highlight for to develop a commission between government and other stakeholders. There is also a very good point that to develop a map or matrix that outline the benefits of the evaluations and to use evidence in order based on decision making, a process for all stakeholders with a special focus on government. Also, relevant evaluation system. Maybe they expect that there is a relevant evaluation system in place by 2021 to embrace the evaluation and incorporate into policy making. A lot of discussions there, and they wrote a lot of these highlights statements in the chat. We can benefit from the chat in our room. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nuha. Very exciting here. And just some great ideas for strengthening government and national evaluation systems. Thank you. So room 9, Veronica.
Thank you very much, Tessie. I would like to thank to our wonderful note taker, Sylvia Diniz. And we discussed in our group that the COVID-19 has pushed SDGs to the background, but it has also amplified the serious need for evidence generation and the use of evaluation. And to bring commitments and action to the Decade for Action, we should be focusing on strengthening independent agencies and organizations when thinking and building up national evaluation systems in the region, strengthening learning-oriented organizations and environments, meaning making them more open to transformative change and helping in that as evaluators. And finally, to involve media and educational institutions in a sense that we also make our evaluation reports actionable and recommendations interested for the wider society, and engage new partners, private partners, and the right holders in the evaluation.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Veronica. So room 10, Kasti. If you're talking, you're muted.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a very interesting discussion in our room. So first, our group suggests for the standardized evaluations because there are so many different national standards of evaluations. So sometimes it's also very difficult to understand. So it could be this movement could encourage the how to standardize the evaluation process. The second one is we would like to encourage the transparency and more holistic process. And also we encourage that the evaluation should be considered relevance, effectiveness, efficiency, impact, sustainability, and the measurements. I think that's all.
Great. Thank you, Gusti. Really appreciate it. And nice to see the connections between the COVID-19 crisis, the long-term goals, the no one left behind, and the government role and the transparency and accountability. Thank you. Serge-Eric, room 11.
Thank you, Tessie. I think we were a wonderful group together, and then Umi was our note taker, so I was happy to talk with those guys. We have key issue in our groups, and then given the ongoing COVID-19, we believe that for more resilient society, it should be good to have more rural center focused on evaluations to empower people at the level or at the village level. Secondly, we believe that it's good to provide eval concept for learning at grassroots level to start eval culture at the bottom, from the bottom. And we think that it's a need to capture more lessons to advocate policymakers for key decision making at national level. And finally, we do have to continue advocacy for evalactism to ensure action is what we have to do now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well said. Some wonderful thoughts for us from room 11. Thank you, Serge-Eric. Room 12, Ritu.
Yes, so 3 points from our group. Thing which came again and again was local to national. Everyone's role is extremely important. So involve from the village, the community level, to NGOs, to the local government, to the national level, whether it was capacity building, data collection, knowledge sharing. The second point, involve communities as the changes are happening to them, particularly involve youth in evaluation processes. An example was given, community-led research. Third was a very important question was asked, how do we connect evaluations and policymakers? So some of the suggestions were like local evaluation networks, the WOPEs, in collaboration with the government can provide a space, for collecting best practices and evaluation reports. Thanks to our teammates.
Thank you, Ritu. Some really, really important points for no one left behind in that presentation. So now to room 13, Shashan and Hur.
So we had a very, very interesting group, people from the parliament, from the state, academia, and civil society, and etc. So we have like 3 concrete action points, which are very straightforward and very interesting. Number 1, to start with national evaluation policy and legislations in each nation to deep dive into the social issues and to generate stronger partnerships. Number 2 is to work on a strategy to agree on activities towards social inclusion, equity, equality, accountability, as well as transparency. And the final one, and the most interesting one, is around building the evaluation capacities amongst the young emerging evaluators, as well as the indigenous evaluators through working with the education systems and engaging the public and private sector.
Thank you, Hur, and really important underlining how what inclusion can look like. And certainly young and emerging evaluators is a really important group, as well as indigenous evaluators. Thank you. Room 14, Surabi.
Yes, so we had a wonderful discussion, and the main points that we discussed and talked about were the need for independence in evaluation, be it conducted by independent government agencies or NPOs, but there's a strong need for independence in conducting evaluations. The second point we discussed was global evaluation, importance of global evaluation platforms like Eval4Action, EvalYouth, in strengthening voices towards building up for SDGs. And the third point was that we need to link and synchronize the national priorities with SDGs and have local integrated M&E systems. So the COVID-19 pandemic has validated the SDGs as the core deliverable for a sustainable planet which can support human life. And fourth point is that we talked about going forward, how the new SDGs targets may assume greater priorities like the SDG goal 3 for health, with a specific focus on the target number 3 within this, which deals with infectious diseases, epidemics, pandemics, to be used as an entry point. And the 3 main indicators we talked about within these SDGs was impact, coverage, and risk factors. So this was the summary.
Thank you. It sounds like you guys certainly had a rich discussion. And thank you to all of those who are uploading their notes in the chat. Please, the people who have not, please go ahead. It will really help us in the immediacy of our next steps. And let's go to room 15, Soma.
Thank you, Tessie. We also had a wonderful discussion. So the first point that came up was that it is important to have mechanisms and strategies specific to countries within their country context so that, and at different levels, in order to build M&E capacity and to help develop evidence-informed policies and decision-making. So the second point, the pandemic has changed the way of business of doing evaluation. So therefore, we need to think of utilizing local networks, evaluation associations and WOPAs, and use the strengths collectively so that evaluations can be conducted more efficiently, more effectively in situations like pandemics and other disasters. But it was also pointed out that some countries do not have WOPAs or evaluation associations, and in such cases, they should be supported to establish such organizations. Then there was also a third point, that the importance of walking the talk, how the organizations need to be supported to make a strong commitment for evaluation, to use the findings to improve the development planning and development of policies. Then the fourth point, the importance of institutionalizing evaluation training at a tertiary education level, in the universities particularly, so that there would be a steady stream of academically qualified evaluators coming out of the universities, enabling the countries to have professional evaluators, and to bridge the gap between the academia and parliaments by having some form of agreements, some form of channels to communicate needs for knowledge on the side of the parliamentarians, and for being able to provide such knowledge on the side of the academia. That's it. And thank you. A great thank you to the team. Thank you, Tessie.
It sounds like you all prepared a comprehensive plan. This is really exciting. And thank you for underscoring also the importance of the VOPEs and especially the regional ones in helping us to coordinate in moving forward. Room 16, we have two more rooms. Room 16, Paula.
Thank you, Tessie. So I was just about to hit enter. So ours have just gone into the chat right now. Our group shared so many valuable ideas, and I have done my best to summarize these into the following 5 points. So one was around bridging evaluation with research and politics to change mindsets. So seeking political will and opportunities through university settings, while there was also some discussion around how these stakeholders can be very difficult to engage. Another key point was supporting M&E through strong M&E policy and frameworks, both at the national and local levels. For example, someone noted that recently the Nepal government passed an M&E Act, which will be a milestone for SDG evaluation in Nepal. And also empowering people as agents of evaluation. So drawing on local communities and consensus building forums, meeting of minds, people-driven mentoring and capacity building. Number 4 is around prioritizing youth, our young people, and their views on what is important in evaluation, encouraging donors to accept coaching in evaluation, and ensuring we always have young people on panels and webinars. And number 5 is socializing what we mean by good evaluation. So emphasizing the use of evaluation and offering awards for when evaluation is successfully translated well into action. So thank you all to the contributors in our amazing group.
Thank you, Paula. Some really exciting ideas there. In room 17, Romeo.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to thank the participants as well in our group and for the impressive insights that you shared. Now, the 3 points that we gathered from our discussion, I would like to start with number 1. And it's about a commitment from individual practitioners, those involved in M&E, I don't know if this is the full thought or the full feeling of the one who mentioned it, but I could reflect and perhaps relate to it. Individual commitment is very important in implementing the SDGs or even pushing forward the cause of evaluation. At this point, we are 162 or more in our Zoom meeting right now, but we may revisit our interest, our dedication to push forward the relevance or the importance of evaluation even after the COVID period. Number 2 point is about commitment to have strategic collaboration with non-public actors. And that is very important because we could admit to ourselves that one of the most important elements of the push toward capacity building or even the implementing of this, achieving the SDGs would be the dynamism and the parts, the contribution of the non-public actors, for instance. The government, all governments are saddled or burdened so much. They are knee-deep in the burdens that they have. They are very slow to move. And we could see the benefit of having collaboration with the non-governmental agents or actors. The last one is about commitment that we could get from the national government to strengthen our statistical system. And I think that's a good comment from our friend from Kenya. Look, we could, I think, say that the lifeblood of M&E or evaluation is the quality of data and information. Because as we are in the COVID-19, we have heard about how to get data without going to the site, meeting people and so on. And we could surmise that the quality of evaluation would be affected. How could they do that under COVID? But of course, COVID let us. So strengthening the statistical system or even our data management would be very important if we were to really pursue or force our boundaries to improve our M&E. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Romeo, and for being the last but not least group, for giving us some exciting ideas here. And thank you to everyone who has made sure no one was left behind in the conversation. My mind is full with all these ideas and bursting. So I just want to invite Marco and then Khalil for a small comment on what has stood out for you from all these amazing ideas.
Thank you very much, Tessie. As we are towards the end, just two things. First of all, really a round of appreciation to Tessie and all the Encompass team for facilitating a wonderful consultation. You know, I work for the United Nations, and I have to admit that it's the first time that I attend a virtual meeting with 16 parallel breakout rooms, and it works so well. So really, it has been a great experience, and thanks a lot, Tessie and the Encompass team. Second, thanks a lot, APEA and EvalYouth Asia, being the first region taking the courage to try this very innovative model, bringing together everybody in a very innovative manner and very participatory manner, all virtual. And in specific, thanks a lot to Azela, Erika, and Quadratullah. You know, really, without your personal commitment and leadership, today, this event today would not have been possible. And obviously, thanks a lot to all participants for really so rich discussions and ideas. So, as Tessie said, I mean, also my brain is also full. I mean, the discussion has been so rich that is going to be really exciting to try to bring together some of the idea. But if I may just bring two things that I'm hearing. The first one is that, we started as a global campaign. Now we are at the regional level. I think there has been a call for going down to country level, because at the end of the day, when we talk about actions happens at country level or even at community level, if possible. So I think that one call that I'm hearing is really for having national campaigns. So national Eval4Action campaigns, always bringing multi-stakeholders together. So really the VOPEs, the UN, EvalYouth, and parliamentarians from that country, and focusing really on sensitization and advocacy around three areas that I so far. One is institutionalization of evaluation, all the discussion about national policy, national systems, the use of local VOPE, and now with the pandemic, that could be a great opportunity because there is more and more needs for that. Then the second is really about how to really engage young evaluators and commitments for a commissioner of evaluation really to hire young evaluators. And the third is really about social inclusion and social justice. So how to use evaluation to achieve social inclusion and social justice. And the second thing, what Romeo just said, at the end of the day, it's about individual commitment. Today here we are 150 people. It's really up to each of us really to commit as a person really to push forward these actions. So really thanks a lot to everybody, and back to you, Tessie.
Thank you, Marco. And let me just give Khalil a chance to comment on before we close.
Thank you, Tessie. I want to also really thank you and Laura and the whole Encompass team for amazing support during the global marathon, and now with the consultation, the regional consultation, always the best quality and great work. And we benefit so much from this. I also want to thank Asela, Qudratullah, and Erica for their leadership. And I know so much communication and preparation, but we saw the impact today with this very organized event. And for me, I think this discussion is very important. What really important as well, what comes after it. Because as Marco rightly said, it's good to have the commitments there, but how to follow up on these commitments? It's individual, organizational, and perhaps also national level if we work together. So the personal initiative, the organization initiative is very important. Eval4Action will be there to support, but it's not another structure that will do project and intervention per se. It's an advocacy campaign. So we will always be there to support, but the initiative, again, like Marco said, because he said all of these points, is with you, is the ownership with you as individual and organization. So I'm really hoping that this discussion continues and actions happen following these discussions. And for me, the main important point I saw, Marco maybe highlighted the main issues, which I completely agree, but I also saw this another axis of it, thinking about the best, because we have to learn from the best, what we have done so far. The present is the action, what we will do now, and the future, that we will have to do mechanisms in order to monitor our interventions as evaluators, because if we don't evaluate and monitor our work, then we are breaching, but we are not walking the talk. So this thinking about it as the past, present, and future, it's very important. And finally, there's so many points that mentioned today, and we have to understand the complexity. So probably we'll not be able to achieve a lot of this, but I think prioritization, to prioritize the most important things in different regions and different people. And if everybody prioritize something and work together with like-minded people, and people have the similar agenda and work, I think we can accomplish a lot together. Thank you again for the opportunity today and the great discussions, and a lot of notes we took as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Khalil. And as you see, there's room for everyone who wants to step up and do something to be supported, appreciated, applauded, and helped along the way. And we have, of course, our regional VOPE structure that is not going to do anything for us in terms of the action, but it is there to support our communication and our coordination and being able to learn from each other. So let me turn it to Acela now to close our event, and with a deep appreciation from the Encompass team for being able to be a part of this. And congratulations to all of the campaign organizers for extremely hard work. Acela, over to you.
Thank you very much, Tessie. What a rich, discussion and inputs generated in this, wonderful event. Of course, with great active participation of all of you, and I'm now even more motivated. UNFPA and EvalYouth Asia, with all other partners in the region, we are proud to carry the Eval4Action torch in the region. We commit to do much more also. We will develop a regional evaluation action plan with valuable inputs from all of you. I repeat that we will develop a regional evaluation action plan with all these valuable inputs. Hence, we invite interested individuals and partners to join us in the regional evaluation action plan process. Next slide, actually, we share our contacts, and definitely you can be in touch with us. Let me also thank all of the participants, speakers, and facilitators, next slide, for joining this special event and contributing the important discussions. You see our facilitators here in the slide. Special thanks to Tessie for your great facilitation, and the Encompass team for great support to the event. We look forward to continuing the journey with and wish all the best for the other regions in their regional consultations. As you saw, the Eval torch we passed from Asia to MENA region. And they will have the next event on 10th of July. And all the best to MENA and all the other regions in upcoming regional events. We will be here to support as well as to ensure regional continuity and build on progress from all regions. Thank you very much for all your participation and for the great event and contribution. Thank you.
Stay well, everyone. And our event is come to an end. Thank you.
Bye-bye to everyone.
As you leave, tell us in chat what you appreciated about being together.
Being together.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye.
Bye, everyone. This has been great.
Bye, everyone. Salam.
Bye, everyone. Hi.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Salam.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Erika.
Take care.
Bye,
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Kisses, I miss you all.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye, Professor Romeo.
Bye, me. Bye, Erica.
Bye, Professor.
Bye, Doc.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye,
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye, Erica.
Hello.
Bye bye.
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 Digadal atki